What's up everyone, Timothy here, aka SBF21, bringing you the draft recap for the Season 12 of the Sunny Shore Battle Federation low tier division. This season there are not 2 low tier divisions, but 1 low tier division has been downgraded, upgraded, it's a matter of perspective I guess, to a hyper low tier division. And yeah, we stayed in the regular low tier division because I like the variety that it brings to regular draft, honestly. So yeah, I'm not gonna be surprised if the SBF is going to be and staying to be me uploading low tier draft from there. This season we had a 11th out of 16 spot in the draft, which is not great, but could be worse. I mean, 8th and 9th are like the worst player spots to be in, and yeah, 11th isn't far off, so yeah, it's just hoping that you're going to be able to make any sort of combination in your draft picks, which I feel like we were able to do in the first rounds already, so yay me! So yeah, let's not stall any longer and get to my first pick, which was going to be Lucario, aka a Nubite. To start off with the nickname, I don't spell Anubis like an idiot. Let's put that up front. I did a bit of research. Anubites are the jackal-like helpers of Anubis. And because this is a low tier division, I did not want to go with a big bad like Anubis right away, and went for a littler version of Anubis in Anubite. And Lucario cost me 18 points out of the 110 points that we have. And in case you don't know, the SBF has a rule that every trainer or coach needs to draft 11 mons precisely. So I started off blowing a lot of points with Lucario already. But Lucario, especially for a low tier draft, is an amazing mon with... well, the main reason I picked it up was because it does have a way of boosting every stat at least 1 or even 2 stages. For the attack, it does have Swords Dance. For attack and defense, it has Bulk Up. For special attack, it does have Nasty Plot. For special attack and special defense, Calm Mind. And for his speed, he does have Agility. So that's already amazing. With 110 attack and 115 special attack, it does not really matter what side he will be boosting, because he can be both physical and special. He does have a pretty diverse move pool, I want to say. Combining that with great abilities in Steadfast, Inner Focus and Justified. Steadfast boosts his speed if he gets flinched. Inner Focus will prevent it being able to get flinched, and also gives it an immunity to Intimidate. And Justified gives a +1 boost to his attack stat if he's getting hit with a Dark type move. As a Steel type, it does have just 3 weaknesses in Fire, Fighting and Ground. The regular weaknesses of a Steel type. And combined with the Fighting type, the Flying and Psychic weaknesses of the Fighting type are negated. Just like the Fairy type weakness that it has. And yeah, very happy to have this thing on board. One thing I forgot to mention, this thing has amazing priority, Mach Punch, Bullet Punch, Quick Attack, extreme speed, and even on the special side it does have Vacuum Wave. So yeah, Lucario is a great first round pick, and I was able to combine Lucario with a great second round pick. Justified makes dark type moves boost his attack stat, and he has a dark resistance. And my next Pokemon only has one weakness, which is dark. So if you haven't picked up what Pokemon is my second round pick is going to be Cosplay, the Hisuian Zoroark. As you can see, only one weakness in dark, which is already amazing. Hisuian Zoroark also cost 18 points, so I have spent 36 points from the 110 that I have. Not sure if I'm gonna keep mentioning that every single round, but yeah, you can see it in on top of the screen how much points a Pokemon costs and how much points I have spent at this point. Hisuian Zoroark is a great combination because of that dark thingy that I already mentioned, so I can disguise myself as Lucario and, at least for a little bit of time, make sure he won't get hit by his only weakness. He does have 3 immunities, which is great in normal fighting and ghost. Poison and bug are resisted, everything else is neutral, which is fine, I guess. 110 speed is more than decent, and his attack stats are also pretty good as well, 100 and 125. So this thing will be able to break through a lot of Pokemon. Yeah, with Illusion I can cosplay as any Pokemon that is last in my roster, so that's also very nice. And yeah, like I said, 100 attack, 125 special attack makes it a good mixed attacker. It does have, at least on the special side, decent coverage, so really looking forward to use these two Pokemon together. Now my third option was also a quite expensive Pokemon. It was Balthormar, aka Cyclozar. Cyclozar is great because of Regenerator, and in a low tier division there are not all that many Regenerator Pokemon. This is also a great Rapid Spin Pokemon. Even though he is not all that bulky with an Assault Vest, this thing can be pretty useful. I can also use the setup version with Shift Gear on this for this Pokemon, with base 95 attack and 121 speed. Shift Gear is something it really does appreciate. Just the 4 weaknesses in Ice, Fighting Dragon and Fairy, which are decently, I'm at this point decently able to cover. It is a second normal type, but I don't really mind it being normal. And yeah, not much to say about it. Cyclozar is going to be filling a, I feel like, dominantly a supportive role, but I do get to be, I'm going to combine this pick with another pick later, so yeah, we'll get there when we get there, of course, but at this point I've already blown half my budget on 3 Pokemon, so I needed to slow down on the points. So next up I picked up a somewhat cheaper option, and that's going to be Miss Puff, the Quillfish. At this point I wanted a bulkier Mon, because all 3 Mons were not all that bulky so far. And with 85 defense and intimidate, this thing is pretty physically bulky. Only 3 weaknesses in electric, psychic and ground, which is pretty decent, I guess. Even though I don't have a ground resist at this point, but we'll get there when we get there. Miss Puff is also great for hazard control with toxic spikes and spikes. For a Pokemon I see more as a defensive option, it does have quite a nice attack stat of 95. Swift Trim, if I ever want to set a brain, this thing can also be a Swift Swim sweeper with that 85 speed stat being doubled. Yeah, I don't think there are Pokemon that can outspeed it in Swift Swim, besides a Scarf top speed user. So yeah, Quillfish, also not being the Hisuian version, still gets Barbarage, which is great. And yeah, the bulky Pokemon I wanted in Quillfish was something I got. But at this point I really needed some ground resistance and immunities in, so yeah, my next pick was something that does not take any damage from ground type moves, and that's going to be Gemini the Mesprit. Mesprit does have Levitate as its only ability, so yeah, that will make sure I will not get hit by any ground type hits. With base 105 defenses and 80 HP, this thing is pretty bulky, and with only 3 weaknesses in Bug, Ghost and Dark, yeah, I'm not really all that worried about big damage. Ghost because at this point I have 2 normal types, Bug because I do have the Hisuian Quillfish, or the regular Quillfish, the Hisuian Zoroark and the Lucario, and Dark again because of Lucario. So this thing is at this point pretty well covered. It does get a plethora of moves that are pretty useful, like Stealth Rocks, T-Wave, Trick. It can set up his own special attack with his signature move, Mystical Power. It does have a pretty wide range of both physical and special type moves, so yeah, Mesprit was a great fit into the team with both his ability and his stats. And I do believe I only get one above 10 pointer after this pick, because 5 Pokemon in and around a quarter of my points left is not all that great. So yeah, I needed to be more careful with my points from now on and go for more budget picks. And you don't get more budget with a Terra Captain, because Terra Captains can be 6 points and below. I had 11 points to fill 2 or 3 Terra Captain spots, and my first Terra Captain spot goes to Eldegoss, aka Poppy, for 5 points. This thing combines well with my Cyclizar, because this thing also has Regenerator, and this thing also gets Rapid Spin. So both my Regenerators being able to Rapid Spin is pretty great. So because with Regenerator I don't really need to run heavy duty boots, I can also run other types of items, because after I switch out, the hazard damage will be mostly, if not fully restored, which is great. I wanted a specially defensive Pokemon, which Eldegoss definitely is with 120 special defense. Yeah, this is just like every grass type Pokemon really is made, because this thing can be very annoying with Leech Seed, Stun Spore, Cotton Guard to boost his 90 base defense, and just be annoying to break down. Especially with the Terra types of Water and Steel. Water helping me with my Fire and Ice weakness. Steel helping me with my Ice, Poison, and Flying and Bug weakness. And yeah, like I said, Regenerator is very nice, but I can also go for Cotton Down, and every time I get hit, my opponent's speed will drop, which can be great in support of other Pokemons. Is there anything else to be said about Eldegoss? Base 80 special attack is pretty decent to use. It does have the lack of a number of typings in his move pool, so he does not have a very wide move pool, but with grass, bug, and there was another typing that was pretty plentiful in his arsenal, but I have to look that up later. Poppy is going to be a great starting point for my for my Terra Captains. And yeah, next up I picked up another Terra Captain. We got Namazu the Whiscash. For the people who don't know, Namazu is a whisker fish in Japanese folklore that was able to use earthquakes or cause earthquakes. And what do you know? Whiscash is the same freaking thing, so fitting. With base 110 HP, 73 defense and 71 special defense, this thing can be pretty bulky. And with only a grass type weakness, this thing can be hard to break down. Especially given that his Terra types are going to be water, because I see this thing more as a defensive option. Poison, really taking away the grass weakness, and dragon, because dragon is a pretty offensive type, I feel like, which can also be very defensive. So I am pretty happy with. I'm going to be pretty happy with these Terra types being both offensive and defensively strong. 78 attack and 76 special attack makes this thing a great mixed attacker again, just like my Lucario, my Hisuian Zoroark, Mesprit, all great mixed attackers. And he does get a wide variety of moves. For example, on the physical side, this thing can learn Liquidation, it can learn Earthquake, Body Slam, High Horsepower instead if I have to face off grassy terrain, Outrage, Rock Slide, Stone Edge, Zen Headbutt, Rock Smash if I need a fighting type move on it. So the physical side is pretty well balanced, especially is pretty well pretty wide, especially if you think of the Dragon Dance that this thing can learn. On this special side, Blizzard, Earth Power, Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, Scald, Weather Ball, Belch for a poison type move, which you can only use once, but still. This thing does get a couple of nice status moves, like I said, Dragon Dance, Stealth Rock, Toxic. It can always set up substitutes. It can make use of weather support with Rain Dance and Sunny Day. It can use Tickle, which I always think is a very fun move to use to lower both attack and defense. And yeah, with Oblivious it can't get Taunted, it can't get Infatuated, it can get Intimidated, which is great. Hydration will lift status moves, so I can go for a Rain Dance and Rest set on this thing. So yeah, there are a couple of great ways to use Whiscash this season. So yeah, I still had 4 more Pokemon to pick up and only 26 points left to spend, which wasn't all that much. So I was looking into my weaknesses, what do I needed to get covered, and I decided to pick up Bombardier. Oh, excuse me. So, bless me. Twice. With my Mesprit, I got another dark weakness, so I wanted to patch the dark weakness up with another dark type. With Quailfish and Lucario, I did have a couple of ground weaknesses that I want to cancel out, so a flying and dark type was a great combination for me, and Luftwaffe the Bombardier fitted that bill perfectly. Big Packs is a great ability, so its defenses can get lowered. Rocky Payload give it a third stab option, Besides his flying and dark typing, it also gets a rock type stab boost with Rocky Payload, and Keen Eye is basically, yeah, unusable in draft because you can't lower a accuracy stat on Pokemon because of accuracy dropping moves being banned. And Bombardier itself is a pretty great Pokemon. Its stats are pretty well rounded because it can be defensive with 70 HP, 85 defense, 85 special defense, but with 103 attack it can also pack a pretty big punch, and 82 speed was pretty well fitting into my speed stats at this moment in time. Oh, damn! I hope I don't get a cold all of a sudden because I really start going at this moment in time. With 82, I do have a great Pokemon in between the Quillfish and Mesprit speed stats, which can force people to run more speed EVs than they really want. This thing also has a momentum move in U-turn, which is great. It gets priority in Sucker Punch, it gets knockoff, which is great support, it gets Thief, which can be fun to use. It can use Endeavor with either Endure or a Focus Sash, which can be a fun way of getting your opponent's Pokemon down on their HP. It can set up Tailwind for the rest of the team so they can get faster. It can set up the rain for the Hisuian Quillfish if I want to. It even can set up Sandstorm, but I don't really think that's going to be necessary. On the setup division, it gets Horn Claws and Curse to boost his attack and his defense or accuracy. It gets Nasty Plot for 60 base special attack, which is possible. And Power Trip can make it so this thing can hit incredibly hard after setting up a couple of Power Trips. Only downside, I don't think it can get a reliable way of boosting its speed, but that's whatever, I guess. So yeah, with Bombardier gone, I do have 3 more picks to make, and I did have 2 points left for my Terracap options, so I decided to spend my last 2 points on a Terra Captain, and that's going to be the Dene, aka Denny. I named it Danny because I once had a hamster named Danny, so rest in peace little guy, and I'm happy the Dene is on the squad. With Terra Electric, Terra Ice and Terra Ground, this thing can be very hard hitting on the special side with 81 special attack and 101 speed. It does, as an electric type, it can't hit ground types normally, so that's why the ice typing is there. Just same goes for grass types, can't really hit that with electric, but Terra Ice can hit it. And Terra Ground is just a great offensive way of dealing with poison and steel types, which fairy types don't really like handling normally. It does get 1 good ability in Cheek Pouch, making berries use their effect twice. So Citrus Berry won't heal 25 but 50% once activated. And yeah, Dene for a 2-pointer is great into my speed stats because it's something in between Hisuian Zoroark and Lucario, in between the 90 and 110 mark. And yeah, a very cheap option for a fast electric type, and a cheap option for a 3rd Terra Captain in my team. Second to last is going to be Roku the Charizard. My final point heavy Pokemon. 100 speed and 109 special attack makes this thing a great special attacker. And 84 physical attack makes it be able to hit on both sides, especially if you think of the fact that Charizard gets moves like Dragon Dance, Swords Dance, and Belly Drum. On the special side, it can only boost that with Work Up, but that also boosts his attack stats. So basically, this thing can set up on the physical side or just hit hard on the special side. Another flying type makes it so I now am better equipped against the ground types. I do have a pretty big rock weakness with this, but that's workable. It does have a great move pool on both physical and special sides, so yeah, Roku is a great addition to the team. And that leaves me with my final Pokemon with, I believe, the best nickname, Aurorus, aka Steamed Ham. Great HP stat, something I did not have, a Pokemon with a high HP stat with 123 HP. This thing is just, besides Whiscash, the only Pokemon above base 100 HP. So that makes this thing, especially on the special side, pretty defensive. On the other hand, it does have quite some weaknesses in fighting and steel, 4 times weak, water, grass, rock and ground. It's just a regular weakness. But it compensates that with 99 special attack and 2 great abilities in Snow Warning and Refrigerate. Refrigerate makes normal type moves become a ice type move. As Snow Warning sets up the snow, I am not allowed to use Aurora Veil with this Pokemon, because that was one of the complex bans that it has. Otherwise this thing would be a bit too overpowered just by switching in, setting up Veil, and yeah, having all damage done reduced by half. So but yeah, with Blizzard in snow, this thing still hits incredibly hard. And yeah, I'm pretty curious to see if I am going to be able to use Aurorus effectively. Looking at the stats, pretty happy with it. Most offensive Pokemon are pretty well-rounded, can be a physical or a special attacker. And looking at my weaknesses, I only have a weakness to rock type moves. And that's just by one Pokemon. If I drop Aurorus, my rock type weakness will be gone. Fairy, ground and ice are neutral. And everything else is green, so pretty happy with that. My speed tiers are pretty well. I think with these speed tiers I force a lot of speed boosting natures instead of offensive or defensive boosting natures. Spadef and Fizdef are not all that great, but I think this team is meant to be more offensive looking at the Pokemon, so that's all good. So these are the Pokemon that have to do it for me this season. Yeah, next week we'll be playing against Smoliv, coach of the Smoliv Garden, and yeah, let's rock this season and let's show what we can do with this team. Hope you have a good one. If you like this kind of content and if you want to stay updated on the SBF season, leave a subscription. So I also try to make 100 subs at the end of the year, so your subscription could really help me get there. So if you want to, all good. If you don't want to, still all good. I can't blame you for doing something for not doing something you don't want to do. So yeah, thank you all again for watching and hope you have a good one. See you all next week. Bye!